Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk about one of the transformation, and this is translation. And today we will be doing coordinates under translation. So as I have mentioned, this is one of the transformation, and the first one that you have to learn is about translation. First, let us define translation. Translation is a transformation that takes place when all points in a plane are moved in the same direction through the same distance. It is not expanding or changing the form of the shape of the figure, but it is changing the position of the figure. Now we have here a Cartesian plane, and on a Cartesian plane we always have the x-axis and the y-axis. Let's say, for example, I have a point here. Let's call it point A. Point A stands on the origin of the Cartesian plane, and the coordinate is 0 and 0. The first 0 stands for the value of x, and the second 0 stands for the value of y. Now, if we are going to change the position, or we are going to translate point A towards right, this means that we have to change the value of x. Towards right means positive values. So if we are going to translate a point towards right, that means we have to add the value of x. And on the opposite side, if we are going to translate this point towards left, this is also a change in the value of x because we are on the change in the x-axis. And towards left means negative. Therefore, we are going to subtract the value of x. And in the same way, when we are going to translate this point upward, this is a change in the value of y since we are changing on the y-axis. And going up, as you go up, the values are positive. So therefore, we are going to add the values of y on the coordinate of a point. And on the opposite way, if you go downwards, we are going to step on the negative values of the y-axis. And therefore, when you go downward, it means we have to minus or we have to subtract the values of y. Let's say, for example, on this Cartesian plane, I have a right triangle with points A, B, and C. The direction goes like this. Translate triangle ABC 6 units to the right and 4 units down. Now, before we translate the triangle, there are two ways in doing this. First is we have to indicate the coordinates of each point on that triangle. Let's start with point A. Point A sits on the Cartesian plane with a coordinate of -5 and 1. -5 is a value on the x-axis and 1 is a value on the y-axis. Remember, when writing the coordinates, you have to write the value of x first, then the value of y. Let's move on to point B. B sits on the coordinates of -5 and 5. And lastly, point C. Point C is on -2, 1. Now, let us go back to the direction. It says here that we have to translate the triangle 6 units to the right. And if you can recall, in the previous slide, we also said that when you move the point towards right, it's a change in the value of x. So we will be changing the values of the x on each point. And 6 units to the right means a positive change. Remember, right plus towards left is minus. So this is 6 units to the right. That means we have to add 6 units on the values of the x. So let us find out the resulting value. -5 plus 6 is 1. And also -5 here plus 6 is also 1. -2 plus 6 is 4. So now we have changed the values of x. Next is 4 units down. Remember in the previous slide that upward is a change in y by positive values, and downward is a change in y by negative values. So in this direction, it says 4 units down. Therefore, it's a negative change, and we will subtract the y values of each coordinate by 4. Okay, so 1 minus 4 is -3. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 minus 4 is -3. And now we can say that these are the new coordinates of the points, but we cannot call them A, B, and C because they are the image. Now remember this, after a transformation, the image of the figure will be called a prime image. So the image of each point will be named a prime of that point. So in A, we call it as A prime. For B, we call it as B prime. And for C, we call it as C prime. Now, in this case, this is the first method. You can directly sketch, plot the points, and draw the triangle. The resulting triangle will be the image of triangle ABC translated 6 units to the right and 4 units down. Now, to make sure, we will do another method. This is another method where you have to do manually change the position of the triangle. So let's say, actually we can plot the points, but to see if our answer is correct, we will manually move the triangle. First is 6 units to the right. So we will move the triangle 6 units to the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's 6 units to the right. Next is 4 units down. We will move the triangle 4 units downward. That is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this location now is the position of the image of our triangle ABC. So let us draw a triangle. Now, since this is the image of the first triangle, corresponding points will be named after its corresponding point, but you have to write the prime. So instead of writing point A, we will write point A prime, point B prime, and point C prime. This is to indicate that this triangle is the image of triangle ABC. Now let us check if our first method has given us the same coordinate of the points. Let's see. A prime. A prime stands on 1 on the x-axis and -3 on the y-axis. That's correct. How about our B prime? B prime is on 1 and 1. That's correct. How about our C prime? Wow, C prime is on 4 and -3. That's also correct. So as you can see, either of the two methods will give you the correct answer. So it's easier for the first method if the teacher is asking only for the coordinates. First method is easier to use when the teacher is asking only for the coordinates. Now, in this case, we can say that the translation of triangle ABC, 6 units to the right and 4 units down, is triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. Thank you for watching, and we'll have more videos next meeting.